Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you are all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today, we are back with our mini-series on the channel with how viable is Control in the historic meta. And essentially this mini-series aims to cover, can you climb the ladder with various different control lists? How viable are they in the meta? So what I've done in this video, different to the other videos that we've done when we've covered this mini-series, is I've tried to just tackle meta decks to see how we get on. And when I say meta decks, I'm talking about Sultai like mid-range, 4-color control, the new Emry combo list that's popped up really recently, Goblins. We've done a few general creature matchups as well, but I've tried to keep it just to the meta decks since we know this deck's pretty good. We know it can tackle a lot of stuff, but we want to know how good is it when climbing the ladder. So we've decided to stick to that. I've made a few changes from Brad's list, not necessarily better changes, not necessarily upgrades, just different things to see how these cards get on. Since I'm quite clear some of the cards we've added are just not going to be better, but we don't know that for sure unless we give them a shot. So this is what this video is going to aim to do. So the main changes I've made is, in the main deck I've only made one change. I've taken out a Baffling End and added in a Seal Away, mainly for Shark Typhoon. Instant speed in the Sultai matchup can be quite annoying. Also in the Mirror matchup that can be, and it's a good way to protect our Planeswalkers at instant speed. So yeah. Baffling End's better against Uro because when you get rid of the Uro, at least your opponent can't get it back if they destroy the Baffling End. But it's a niche thing, and hopefully these cards are normally going to come up in that come out in their matchups anyway. But we might want to keep in a Seal Away for the Shark Typhoon reason. Yeah, it also works with Teferi being able to tick up, untap, and then hold up your Seal Away. So it works in like non-meta deck matchups as well when your opponent's just running a normal creature deck. Could be quite good as well. And then that's the only change we've made in the main deck. We've kept everything else the same. In the sideboard, we've added in 2 extra bits of Graveyard Hate with Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Peace. These are mainly for the new Emry list that's going around at the moment, like I mentioned, where you combo off with Paradox Engine and Emry. Both of these cards hit really hard on Emry, and instead of going up to 4 Grafdigger's Cage, I've only gone up to 3 in the 75 and added in a Rest in Peace as well. This is just for some diversity. This hits against Godfarer's Gift as well, and just other graveyard recursive decks. Pyromancer, this gets hit hard by. I know Pyromancer, the Rakdos version, doesn't have an answer to Rest in Peace, but it does have an answer to Grafdigger's Cage. I mean, if they run the 2-mana sorcery, Feed the Swarm, that destroys any permanent, then I guess so. Any non-land permanent, but I don't think them decks typically run that. But they do run Bedevil for Grafdigger's Cage, so Rest in Peace is just another answer. Also, if we were bringing these in against decks with Maelstrom Pulse, maybe Jund Sacrifice, then they're not going to be able to mop up all of our bits of hate at the same time. We're then running 2 Seal Aways. I can't remember if these were the same. We've done a video on the channel already covering Brad's list, so go check that out and check the deck list in the description of that to check the exact changes. I might actually leave one in the description down below. I'll leave both deck lists so you can have a look at the exact differences as well. But yeah, running 2 Seal Aways instead of extra Baffling Ends, just for the diversity, just trying them out, see how they do against Baffling Ends to really get that comparison between which bit of 2-mana removal do we want. We're then running Aethergust. I don't believe these were in the original list as well. There's just so much going around at the moment. Like, you want these in so many matchups, and they just work out really well. An extra Disdainful Stroke. This is for like Goblins. This was in the list originally, I believe. So yeah, no change there. Dovin's Vetoes are the same. Mystical Disputes. I believe this might have been 3 originally, so we've gone down 1. Narsets are the same, and instead of Shatter the Sky, which is what Brad was running originally, we're going to try a Cleansing Nova. A little bit more expensive, and it does come up from time to time, but the ability to destroy all artifacts and enchantments, I feel like this is going to be good in quite a few matchups. I feel like it's good in the Emry matchup, if we need this, since it has the diversity to kill Emry, but also if our opponents set up like Paradox Engine, but they can't find anything else, we can mop up all of their artifacts and enchantments. It's also good in the colorless combo list that just aims to ramp out a load of things and then play Ugin and Karn, since we could just mop up all of their artifacts after. So I'm not necessarily saying Cleansing Nova is better than Shatter the Sky or Settle the Wreckage, but I feel like it's worth playing just to see how this gets on. So we'll give it a shot and see how this fares in the meta at the moment. But yeah, that's essentially the list. Like I said, we're going to aim to just go over meta decks, really. And yeah, we'll revise this again in a few weeks, and we might go back closer to Brad's list, might try out some other bits. But yeah, we'll see how it gets on, and I will catch you again at the end in the wrap-up. So on the draw, I think this hand's okay. So we really need these Wrath of Gods to be good. We're against Gigantha, so it might be the new combo list that's about at the moment. So the board wipes will be okay, and we're probably just going to cycle these Irrigated Farmlands to make sure we hit relevant spells. So our opponent's on. Yeah, looks like the new combo list with Emry. Sensor's not bad. Our opponent can generate quite a bit of mana though, so Sensor's not great. I'm going to see an Emry here. 1 mana. Yeah, opponent might be off to the races. Double Paradox Engine in the graveyard and a Llanowar Elves. Oof. So I don't have high hopes. If our opponent has, I guess, Chromatic Sphere can loop already. Opponent could get back Paradox Engine. It looks like they're really close to comboing. Sensor doesn't do anything here. This can return a creature. So opponent hasn't left up any mana. I think we're just going to double cycle here. I don't think Sensor's going to be very good. Absorb is okay. Could have played Castle Enchantress instead. Absorb's okay. We can hopefully buy ourselves a turn and then Wrath of God this away. Yeah, Mind Stone's fine. I think we need to save this for the Paradox Engine. Opponent gets to draw an extra card. I think they need Emry to combo. Just going to put Gigantha into their hand. I think we're going to cycle a land. And let's just restart this board. Yeah, I think as long as we can keep Emry off the board, we should be okay. They've obviously got Uro and like other threats, but we can handle an Uro and a Gigantha. So yeah, let's escape Uro. So our opponent goes Emry here. Hoping they contribute a little bit more to the board for this second Wrath. If not, we might just cycle the Shark Typhoon. I wonder if it's better just to hold up the Absorb and cycle. I don't really want a Wrath when our opponent could just play another Emry soon. They've also got the mana to bounce the Uro back to their hand. I think we'll take a hit from the Uro and cycle the Shark Typhoon. Cycle it for free. If not, we'll we also get to hold up Absorb this way as well. Okay, yeah, getting back that Emry. Think we just counter the Emry when they try and play it? Or we just let them play it and then we cast the Wrath next turn, which might just be better. I think that's just better if our opponent goes for that. They get to mill a little bit more. They get to mill, so Uro will be back again. But I don't think they can have a problem with stopping Uro anyway. Cycle, see what we find. Sensor. Yeah, I think we allow this. They can recast Uro again, which is a problem. But we need to get value from this Wrath of God, I think. Yep. So Rest in Peace is going to be our main sideboard hate, along with Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, just cycling here. Sensor's really not good in this matchup. So we can't board wipe and hold up Absorb. Does that matter? I think tapping down to cast a Shark Typhoon is a mistake here. Just got to stop that Emry, I think. Might cycle one of these Shark Typhoons for nothing, just to try and find another Wrath of God, cast out, removal spell. Just need to hold this Emry back, I think. Wow, that's bad. So opponent has everything they need to combo. They've got the Paradox Engine, they've got all of the bits. We just need to make sure we can keep this Emry off the board. Perfect. Just need to keep this Emry down. Opponent's going to have no problem escaping Uros. Stop this. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have an Emry in them 4 cards. Or they do. So 2 Emrys are in the graveyard. This is the 3rd one. Not liking our odds now. We've got to find a removal spell. So what are we doing? Just cycling Shark Typhoon here? Okay, I guess we're just holding up Absorb when they try and recast the Paradox Engine out of their graveyard. Gonna have to try and stop that. I don't think we can stop Khan. We have to stop the Paradox Engine. Yeah, opponent can stop our Planeswalkers, but we have a counter spell. So they get to see our counter spell, but I don't think that matters too much. Yeah, shut down our Teferi. We can still win with Shark Typhoons. And we have 2 left in the list. I think our opponent might just deck before that. Okay, opponent's just going to go for the Mind Stone play. I like Searchlight Cancer and I like Baffling End. We have enough cards in our graveyard that Searchlight Cancer would flip next turn. But we'd have to draw it and then flip it. Because we can Baffling End this turn, which I think we have to do on the Emry. But we don't get told off Absorb, so if our opponent has another one... I think Searchlight Cancer is going to be too slow. Maybe. But then what else have we got? Like Narsets to draw? I guess Narset's okay. I don't know. I think we're in a position where we can't skip a draw step at the moment. And yeah, our opponent's quite close to milling as well. But yeah, Rest in Peace feels like it's good in this matchup. Our opponent can get stuff out of their graveyard, out of their sideboard though, to blow up the Baffling End, like Meteor Golem. Ah, they're going to win with Godpharaoh's Gift instead. Yeah, opponent can combo here, can't they? They can get back Emry from their graveyard. It has haste, and then they have enough mana. We're just going to scoop it up there. Have enough respect for our opponent to know when we'll beat. Right. So, what do you want in this matchup? I think Rest in Peace is obvious. Grafdigger's Cage feels good. Opponent's not really drawing that many cards. Mystical Dispute, is that okay? Like, probably better. Like, cut like all of our sensors. Aether Gust doesn't feel that good. It stops Uro, but I'm not really worried about Uro too much. Disdainful Stroke's like okay at countering the Paradox Engine in the Khan, but apart from that, not much. Is Cleansing Nova something we want? It can get all of their artifacts and enchantments, slow them down a bit. Okay, on the play, and I think we have to mulligan this. We do have Grafdigger's Cage, but we have 4 of this style of effect in our entire deck, but we have 1 land. So this hand looks better, kind of. We don't have any of our Grafdigger's Cage effects, but double Baffling End for Emrys, and mana is a little bit awkward. That's pretty nice. Our opponent's likely to have some answer to Grafdigger's Cage. I think we're just going to save this. We might cycle a Shark Typhoon for 1. I think we will to just try and hit our land drops. See an Emry here for 1 mana. Just going to try and hit lands. Nope. Okay. Just hit for 1, I guess, and run it back again. Could cycle now, but we're sort of representing some form of counter magic. Okay, Mind Stone. And the Sharks kind of put a Khan under a little bit of pressure. Just need to find another blue source. I'll just put Gigantha into the hand. I don't like having to cycle these Shark Typhoons for 1, but need to hit land drops. Yeah, untapped blue source is pretty good. Yeah, we get to hit for 2 a turn now. So in time we should get there. Opponent's just going to cast Gigantha. Are we just stopping this? Good Wrath of God, but we'll save it. We'll just counter this. It'd mean we'd have to Wrath, and I'd rather save this for Emrys. Ooh, Rest in Peace. Do we save the Rest in Peace? Save it for our opponent to put something into the graveyard first. Maybe. Let's save it. They're not in black, so they're not going to be fort seizing us. We'll wait for our opponent to set up and go for the combo, and then we'll Rest in Peace. Okay, this Shark Typhoon is going to be a little bit more influential. And yeah, it feels good getting rid of all of this stuff. These little cheap artifacts our opponent needs to cycle through their deck. Yeah, unfortunately, Escape to the Wilds is going to resolve. Opponent casts this Uro, goes to the graveyard, we get to exile it. I guess they can put an extra land into play and recast it. We've got the Baffling End. No, they're just going to tap down. Let's cycle for 3. And suddenly we're hitting for 5 a turn, which is okay. I wonder if we play the Search for Azcanta represent counter magic. Search for Azcanta is never going to flip. Now Rest in Peace is out. I guess we'll put it down. I don't know how much our opponent can do with Rest in Peace and Grafdigger's Cage down. They might be able to answer one of them, but they shouldn't be able to answer both of them in one turn. There's the Paradox Engine. Opponent might be able to combo. Let's exile that. We don't have a way to answer the Paradox Engine at the moment. Haven't found a cast out. So opponent might be able to combo. They need Emry though and stuff in their graveyard, so Paradox Engine isn't as scary. They can generate a ton of mana here. Unfortunately, we're one short of killing our opponent in the air. So our opponent's forced to block the Llanowar Elves. And we'll play Narset out. Try and limit what our opponent's able to do this turn. Okay, they got the negate. So our opponent's on 1. They've got to answer all of our sharks or gain some life. Nice. Going to game 3. Probably just going to run it back. The only thing I think we might want is Dovin's Vetoes. I think I prefer that above Disdainful Stroke. Like, Narset's going to dig for us stuff that's relevant. Cut to Ferry for another Dovin's Veto. We just need to make sure we have enough answers for what our opponent's doing. This hand has, like, no interaction in it, but Narset's able to dig us. If our opponent has an early combo start, this hand's not going to be great. Search for Azcanta can dig us, though. So it's really, can our opponent combo by turn 4? Since Narset should be able to find us something. We'll keep. We have so much sideboard. We have so much hate against what our opponent's doing. Hoping that they're going to take a slower approach to this. It looks like they are as well. Search for Azcanta, start digging. Yeah, and then just Narset next turn. So what am I going for? Khan. Could cycle a Shark Typhoon to take down the Khan. Because a Khan can plus on Mind Stone. What is it? So it'll be a 2/2, so Narset will only get 1 activation. But we kind of want to play it before our opponent can play Sorcerer's Spyglass. Yeah, we'll play this. If our opponent wants to tick up the card next turn to threaten the Narset, they can. Also, Sorcerer's Spyglass is not a permanent answer since we do have like cast outs. Going for the Paradox Engine. Makes sense getting it down now. Okay. Probably gonna graveyard that. Let's go digging. Let's go for a mystical dispute. A little bit worried about what our opponent can do. They can take out Narset here, play the Sorcerer's Spyglass on the Teferi. I think we'll allow that to happen and hold up Absorb. Though cycling a Shark Typhoon for 1 doesn't feel awful to block the Narset. To defend the Narset. I think we just let it happen. Need to hold up a counterspell this turn, I think.
I was not prepared for this.
I think we just let this resolve as well. We're gonna get one of our Planeswalkers. Gonna go to Fairy. I think the draw-go game benefits us longer in the long run. I think Mana Elves is fine. So yeah, let's cycle a Shark Typhoon here just for 1. Puts the Khan under a little bit of pressure. They won't be able to just keep plussing and then minusing. So do we want to cast out the Paradox Engine? I don't think so. I don't think our opponent can combo here. Just hold up double counterspell. And we might cast out the Paradox Engine in the end step. It's going to make the Mox Amber tap for mana now, so they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana available to them. Want to just stop this? Opponent didn't float mana in response. They're floating mana now? Why are they floating mana now? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 mana to activate. That's fine. Not sure why they'd float mana from Mind Stone and Llanowar Elves before Kinnan resolves. They're doing it on their own Graph Digger's Cage. So they have like a removal spell for it. This is an interesting way to kill it though. I didn't realise Khan could target our artifacts as well. Oh, so what their plan was to activate it, but it still keeps its abilities. So we get to kill Khan here. And hit our land drop. Gonna graveyard that. We already have one out and we have our land for next turn. So just going to do that and then play Narset, I think. Shuts down our opponent's draw engines and we still get told off Absorb. So opponent messed up a little bit there. Let's take Veto. We know our opponent's running negates. So I feel like we're tightening our grip slowly. This would allow our opponent to take out Narset this turn. Is this something we want to stop? Would losing Narset be the end of the world? Since our opponent would be able to attack her anyway, and we'd block the Llanowar Elves and it would still go down to 1. I think we'd just rather save the options. Also, if our opponent puts Narset into the graveyard, we can flip Search Canter. 5 cards in there so far. Yeah, probably not going to cycle this cast out. We'll hold on to it. They might have an answer to the first one, but we have the Rest in Peace. Probably just want to transform here. Oh, there we go, another one. So I'm thinking hold up Counter Magic, activate Search Canter, and then next turn and try and maybe cast out the Sorcerer's Spyglass and we get Teferi on board. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty comfortable behind Counter Magic here. And hopefully we can just dig for a board wipe. Just gonna activate Kinnan. So I think we gotta stop Escape to the Wilds. So just veto it. Because we kind of want to activate Search Canter this turn. I don't really want to fight over a counterspell this turn. Really like to find a board wipe just to wipe away these. I feel like it's going to limit our opponent. Also, since we have the second Grafdigger's Cage, a Cleansing Nova wouldn't be awful. Just wipe away all of what our opponent's doing. Then we get to Rest in Peace to exile it all. Since our opponent has 2 cards in hand, I feel like we're drawing closer. Opponent has a lot of mana though. They know they can't activate this. This is the second time they've done this. I think just taking the second veto. Yeah, just board wipe. I mean, our opponent has a lot of mana, but it's not really threatening. Still think we're going to do it. So I think I'm happy to counter this. If our opponent has second negate, then they have no cards left in hand. Okay, so that's what our opponent's got. They get 1 extra draw with Mind Stone. But apart from that, we're okay. So, 1 unknown card. We actually need to be careful we don't just die on board. Just gonna sit back here. Could find a seal away. Let's do this now. No seal away. Did get a Wrath of God though, so probably just going to take that. And we're just going to save the 5 life. Our opponent could have another double counter spell in hand. But certainly willing to risk it. Nope. So just going to pass a turn. Hopefully cast out this Sorcerer's Spyglass, and then we got Teferi to go. Yeah, Kinan's not threatening at all. Not of our cage down. Emry, on the other hand, I think Emry's fine. It doesn't have haste. So we just Sorcerer's Spyglass. We just taken the Sorcerer's Spyglass out here. Then Teferi, rest in peace. And then we still get to hold up Dovin's Veto. So let's rest in peace first. I think that's more important. We've also flipped our Search for Azcanta, so all good. Opponent's just going to scoop it up there to the rest in peace. Sweet! Taking down the combo list. Definitely one of the harder matchups maybe at the moment. I was quite worried about this, but turns out we're actually okay. Once you get down your Rest in Peace and Grafdigger's Cage, opponent has little answers to it. I'd imagine all of their stuff is in the sideboard that Khan is going to go grab. So this deck probably thrives more in best of 1 than best of 3, but something I was worried about. But yeah, pretty good that we was able to take it down. Yeah, this hand looks really good. So, an array of answers here. Need to find lands probably more than anything. Okay, mountain. It's mono red. Okay, against goblins. So normally our goblin matchup's okay, but quite a few answers for some of the stuff they're doing. I think we are just gonna baffling end this. We don't want our opponent being able to turn 3 Muxus. Opponent's gonna sack it. 1 red mana. Okay, Conspicuous Snoop's good. So we know bad for us. So we know our opponent's drawing a land off the top. We could use this opportunity to get down Narset. If our opponent has a hasty goblin, then Narset dies. We'll probably hold no absorb on that for like Krenko and Muxus, so they can't play either of them this turn, so probably an opportunity to get down our Narset.
Meditate and prepare.
Baffling End, Teferi. Teferi's going to be our late game card advantage, isn't it? Baffling End's like an immediate answer. We get to play Baffling End, hold up Disdainful Stroke, I guess. Feels bad because we probably needed Teferi to take over, but I'm hoping that Shark Typhoons will just be enough. Okay, so Narset is going to die here. Our opponent could put it to 1. I don't know how much they actually want to draw cards in this matchup. Yeah, it makes sense. They don't actually mind too much about drawing.
So much commotion.
So our opponent had 2 lands back to back. This is a cost reduction for our opponent's goblins. I feel like we just take the card advantage away from them. If our opponent goes for a 4-mana goblin here, we have the Disdainful Stroke. Our opponent's lands are a little bit triggering. So yeah, just taking the hit here. Yeah. I don't know, maybe we should be saving that for Muxus and Krenko, but that's going to find, like, up to 4 goblins. See how our opponent does here. I feel like we might just want to cast out this Goblin War Chief. I guess we'll do it in the end step. We can take the 2. Muxus. Yeah, probably better stop that. Probably indicates our opponent has another Muxus. Probably need to find another counter spell, an Aether Gust. If our opponent has another Muxus and they find another Haste Enabler, then we're in trouble. This will keep it. Okay, that's a pretty good answer. Okay, not too worried about Muxus anymore. More worried about a Krenko, and we can always cast out the War Chief when the Krenko comes down. Okay, sure. So opponent's got no problem with haste. And probably just taking the War Chief here. And now, yeah, top deck mode. Probably for both of us. Can probably take 1 hit. Try and get some extra value. Yep. Opponent's just going to hit us for 5. We get to get the extra goblin in here. But we need to top deck something relevant. Maybe some cycling stuff to dig us deeper. Opponent's running like a different land. Not all different lands. Like a mixture. Shark Typhoon's really good to top deck here. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have like a haste enabler. Or anything too big. Nope, just going to pass. Okay, so we might be in an okay position here. Get to Shark Typhoon for 4. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. So this is for each other goblin. So I want like an absorb his. Sensor's not that great. I guess cast out's quite good. And yeah, I think we can start attacking. See where this Muxus goes. We're probably just casting it out. Since we have the extra Narset activation, we have a cycle from Irrigated Farmland. I think we're okay. So yeah, it came down to a top deck, but Shark Typhoon into Narset was enough to pull it back for us. And yeah, Absorb's gonna seal the deal here.
Just the trick of this.
So yeah, lethal. We've got lethal here. Yeah. So yeah, game 1 against Goblins. This matchup feels okay. It depends how fast your opponent can get a Muxus out. If you have the tools, like Grafdigger's Cage, then it feels okay. We are running an extra 1 in the board compared to the last time we were running Azorius Control. Brad Barkley's list. So I feel like our matchup against Goblins is a little bit better. So yeah, we got the extra 1. The Stameful Stroke feels good. Probably going to cut these seal aways. Want the Aether Gusts and Strokes. Don't want that Mystical Dispute. Center doesn't feel that good. I feel like Baffling End's like okay. Are we worried about Herald's Horn? Like cut some sensors. Like a cast out. because we're keeping in the baffling ends. Cast out's can obviously more flexible than baffling end, but the cheapness of this is hopefully going to be quite good. Don't think we can keep a one lander. Yeah, this hand looks so much better. What are we bottoming? Right, Shark Typhoon. Opponent does have the 4-mana Goblin that can come down and sacrifice another Goblin to blow up an artifact. So, got to watch out for that, but they can't play it turn 2. And Aether Gust will hopefully clean it up or set it back a little bit if they go for a turn 3. Okay, Crater Maker. Crater Maker is also another answer to Grafdigger's Cage. Opponent's gonna, I'd imagine, prioritize getting damage in. They don't need to blow up the cage at the moment. Opponent could have a Muxus here. So they can't Goblin Crater Maker and Muxus while playing around Sensor. Is that right? Opponent has 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available to them. Maybe that's the consideration they're making. Maybe they've got the Muxus. They're just like, am I going to play around it or not? Yeah. Opponent was making that tough decision. They get to sack the whole board here. So we get to sack Muxus back a few turns. So we could have played Irrigated Farmland hoping to hit Teferi next turn. I think we're just going to go for the double cycle though. Okay, just going for the card advantage now. See what our opponent's going to draw. Sultai Cantor's not bad. Okay, just land. So we can mop these up with Wrath of God. Probably wanted to hit our 5th land drop. I assume we would draw land, but probably want to kill both of these. If this is a Muxus in our opponent's hand, we're going to get punished. How many cards we got in Graveyard? 5. Could Sultai Cantor, hold up Aether Gust, take off 3. We also get to censor land on top as well. So opponent has a Muxus, yeah. So we're happy to just censor this, I think. Save our Aether Gust for some cows. And now, hopefully, Sultai Cantor's going to flip next turn. Yeah, I think it's worth getting that. So, opponent has a castle Embreth, so we don't want to play Teferi at the moment. We'll just Wrath of God. We know opponent's drawing a land. Then we get to play Teferi, hold up Aether Gust. And hopefully that's enough. We get to negate our opponent's next turn, and then we get 2 activations of Sultai Cantor to find another counterspell. I guess if our opponent blanks here as well, we get to activate as Cantor. So we'll see. I think we put that back on top. We get to activate twice next turn. If we can find another counterspell, we can stop it. It's essentially another copy of Muxus. So let's draw first. So opponent's not just out of it. If we could whiff here. How much mana has our opponent got? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Sensor doesn't really work. So yeah, whiffed. We'll just hold up all of our answers here. So our opponent goes for. I don't know if they've got time to play Muxus. Yeah, Ringleader looks appropriate. It feels bad for our opponent there. I'll hold the cast out. We got to find a counterspell here.
Keep up the pace.
That's hopefully going to be enough now. We let our opponent get one cast off the top. How much damage could they really do this turn? Especially when we've got the Wrath of God. Yeah, that's fine. And we know our opponent's drawing dead next turn. This way we get to get the extra value of the Wrath of God, and we've got Search for Canter. Yeah, and Teferi's going to ultimate next turn, so I don't think there's anything our opponent can do here.
Let's skip to the good part.
Yeah, we know they're drawing a Braid next turn, and they know we have the Absorb. So they have to draw 2 relevant spells. Yeah. Feels bad for them. Yeah, it's just a pretty good hand. We'll probably cycle one of these cast outs early. Got an Absorb and, yeah, Shark Typhoon. Opponent's mulliganing quite a bit. No companion, so don't know what they're on yet. So, opponent's mulligan to 5 with an Overgrown Tomb. So, no Four.Vs. Okay, Shocking in a Water Grave. I don't know what this means. So, opponent's on. They might be on Sultai. Yeah, some sort of Sultai list. Probably just going to cycle one of these cast outs. Guarantee we hit our land drops, find some more counter magic. Yeah, Uro. We got the Baffling End to check that. But got to be careful for a turn 4 Nissa. So opponent didn't have an extra land drop, so it's unlikely they're going to be able to cast Nissa now. I mean, they're not going to be able to cast Nissa. And yeah, Castle Ardenvales is still good. Yeah, we'll just allow this. For opponents just gaining life here, I think this is fine. They're not putting the extra land into play. So like, opponent's going to miss their land drop again. I think we just go like that. And we'll just play Narset. We don't need to hold up Absorb, I think. Our opponent's not going into Nissa next turn. Like Wrath of God. I think just take Sensor and probably just cycle it away. Our opponent's also constricted on mana, so Sensor's going to be even better. Opponent has their own Narset. Nice. Shark Typhoon will be able to mop that up next turn. Opponent has an eliminate. So I think we just get our value out of Narset since they're going to be eliminating. And yeah, to discard. I don't know what we're discarding. Maybe just Censor. Baffling End's going to be good for these Uros. And I think Cast Out's going to be more valuable. But yeah, hopefully just going to Shark Typhoon here for 1 maybe. Maybe opponent didn't realise that Narset's static ability. Yeah, even though they have their own Narset out. So we can tap down and absorb. Or we could wait till next turn. Our opponent's likely to eliminate. I don't think we're going to Shark Typhoon. Cool. Next time we can Shark Typhoon for 1 and hold up absorb. So I think we're just going to go for that. We could only do that if we top deck that island as well. So a little bit lucky. But opponent's going to eliminate. We're going to absorb. I'm going to Lego actually. We'll stop. Hopefully we'll stop a Nissa. Stop something our opponent wants to do here and also kill their Narset. So we'll just do this for 1. Yeah, opponent's definitely going to have a removal spell. Yeah. Kind of want to take this Narset off the board. We now just get Castle Arden Vale each turn. So our opponent's going to struggle to keep Narsets down in future. Opponent's got all the growth spirals. I think that's all of them. Yeah, I think it's all 4. Another Narset. I think we need to wait for more blue mana before we do that. And we're not under any pressure at the moment. Opponent's going to be able to Uro. Can probably just Aether Gust it. So opponent's stuck a little bit on mana. And they obviously made the mistake with one of their growth spirals. Spent 2 mana to discard a card. Forever wishing we had a Censor. I wonder if we just cast this out. And then we get to hold up Aether Gust and absorb still. It means our opponent gets the 3/3. I think we just cast it out. I just want to keep specific answers like absorb in hand because it's such a good answer to what our opponent's trying to do. This naturally has vigilance, so not going to have to get past it for a little bit. We can still attack with our shark. But I don't think pressuring our opponent's life total is like everything we want to do here. I guess we could keep this back. We'll attack 1 turn. So now we threaten to trade with the breeding pool if our opponent attacks, but it's more likely we'll just make 1 in the end step if our opponent doesn't make us do anything else. Are we happy to just cast out this as well? And then we can Wrath of God next turn. While holding up a counter spell, we get 2 of our opponent's lands that way as well.
I protect that which cannot protect itself. I must go. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Yeah, I guess we actually should have blocked that to save the life. Cage is a perfect answer to Uro. We're not going to have to flip Searchers Canter this turn. Yeah. Are we playing Cage this turn? Or holding up a counter spell? I guess we get to hold up Aether Gust still, but we want to stop their Muros, I think. And we got an Aether Gust. Probably just stop that, since we can absorb it next turn. Our opponent's a bit constricted on mana as well. So that will likely just be their entire next turn. So we have enough anyway. Probably want this. I feel like Castle Vantress is better than Castle Ardenvale in this matchup. And more blue sources of mana are always welcome. So we know our opponent's just Maelstrom Pulsing this turn.
Just the trick for this.
Yeah, Disdainful Stroke is good. So we're just absorbing this and then going digging. And just need to find a Teferi, yep. And now I feel like we're in the money, yep. Double Searchers Canter activations each turn. But yeah, a little bit constricted on mana they were there, but we still managed to pull it through. So, what do we want in this matchup? I feel like Grafdigger's Cage does everything that we want it to do. We don't need to bring in the additional Rest in Peace. Probably just want, like, something like that and cut a load of cards. Sensors don't feel that good. They're good for cycling. Cut these. Our board wipes are going to clear up opponent's creatures. Don't think we need the additional Cleansing Nova. Maybe just cut like the other two sensors. Run Aether Gusts and Disdainful Strokes. Seem pretty good. I wonder if we want vetoes. Our opponent has a good mixture of threats. Maybe we do want Dovin's vetoes. What would we be cutting for them? Since I think we want all of these. Maybe go like that, just to have a little bit more diversity. Having a single Dovin's veto is good in there, but we got enough counter magic that if we can keep our opponent off the board for long enough, should be okay. Run it like that. Yeah, this hand looks really good. We are a little bit funny on mana, but we can get the Castle Ardenvale down first, and then Island, and then all of our mana enters untapped. Opponent gonna 4Cs, yep. Wonder what they take here. Maybe Mystical Dispute. It's likely that our opponent has their own Mystical Disputes after boarding. Just gonna take the more consistent counterspell. Maybe they haven't got a turn 4 Nissa. Yeah, no green mana, so no Growth Spiral here. Opponent's just gonna cycle Shark Typhoon for no value. Castle Vantress is so good in these matchups. If you have a ton of counter spells and your opponent's doing nothing, just let this go. So opponent's 4th card in the graveyard and then 5th. So one more card in the graveyard, they have to escape Uro. So if our opponent can Nissa here with a Mystical Dispute, might be in a little bit of trouble. Since I guess Teferi can come down and like tuck the Nissa, but then we've got like Uro to contest with. Okay. We just have to lay land and pass. It's really like that our opponent has a counter spell here. We can't activate Castle Ardenvale, which is something that we might want to do. Just have to go with Castle Vantress. I think Aether Gust is okay. It's another answer to a Nissa. If our opponent's playing it, it can get Uro. Again, can't really play out to Fairy. Triomes are really good. Yeah, you can take her absorb. High Droid Krasis. Do we counter this and we get to hold up Ether Gust? We can do this and activate Castle Vantress still. So I guess let's activate Castle first. Probably do want the Narset. It's a little bit late, but we want land as well. So opponent gets to draw 2 here. So Narset would have been great to have down already, but we get to resolve our Teferi now.
I know what must be. Keep up the pace.
And then we're going to hope that Ether Gust is enough. Oh! I hate Fort Distortion. The opponent have an answer to our Teferi. We're in trouble if they do. Okay, I was meant to upkeep that, but Dovin's Veto is a good one.
We need to move quickly.
Are we just casting Shark Typhoon here? Try and close the gap? I think we're so low on cards, we need to cycle Shark Typhoon. Yeah, no. So, can cycle Shark Typhoon for 1, hoping for a Dovin's Veto. Could cycle Shark Typhoon for none, and then Mystical Dispute does it. Absorb does it. I really don't think the Shark's that useful. I think I'm going to cycle Shark Typhoon for just none. Hoping to hit a counterspell here. I can still hit Mystical Dispute. Oh no, I guess Mystical Dispute wouldn't work, but we still cycle that land anyway.
I'll have a better plan next time.
So we're going to upkeep Scry now. Yeah, I guess Shark Typhoon's okay. We get to make a 1-1 on this board state. So maybe we should have just cycled the Shark Typhoon for more. Just cycled it for free, and then we could start chipping in here. Free also trades to a Nissa land, which is relevant. But yeah, Fort Distortion's pretty strong. Can't just sit behind all of our counter magic. It's just a shame we wasn't able to resolve the Narset. Opponent's just casting it. Nice. Okay, Teferi. What are we doing here? Teferi plus 1-ing. Like tuck the Uro. Opponent's just going to get to make a ton of sharks. So we're not going to have to defend Teferi for long.
No time for a break.
Double land is not what we wanted to see. See if our opponent just has like a straight answer for Teferi here. No, going for the second Shark Typhoon. This makes me think we want Cleansing Nova. Yep. So it's kind of like Wrath of God now. even Wrath of God isn't really enough.
The land fights for us.
Yeah, both are Teferi. So Teferi's not going to be able to touch, but we're probably going to need to plus him anyway.
That was uncalled for.
Cast out, what does that do for us? Takes out the Nissa. I don't think cast out's good enough. We need to hit a board wipe, don't we? So we can do this and still hit board wipe. I think we need to hit 2 relevant spells, don't we? We need to hit like a board wipe and something else, so we'll just take our draw step.
We need to move quickly.
Yeah, cast out. So probably just cycling cast out now. Yeah. Just gonna scoop it up there, I think. I think I've only got 2 far ahead. I think the Fort Distortion sort of wrecked us. So I think we want this Cleansing Nova above one of these Wrath of Gods. And we haven't really got a way to tackle Fort Distortion. Yeah, not much of a way to tackle it. I still think 2 Grafdigger's Cages is enough. We only need to find one of these sort of hate effects. Our opponent has a Maelstrom Pulse, but still think that's fine. But yeah, Fort Distortion is going to be an issue. We're just going to have to sort of get our Planeswalkers down as soon as we can. This hand looks okay. Got interaction for the Nissas. Obviously, if our opponent does have a Fort Distortion, then in trouble. Yeah, just going to be cycling that. Okay, Growth Spiral. Yeah, just allow this. Are we cycling cast out here? We can use it as of next turn. Absorb's nice. Sultai feels like a really difficult matchup. If we have a Nissa down and our opponent, like, it's really dependent on our opponent drawing like a Fort Distortion. So they don't have a Swamp here, that's why this is entered tapped, but they could easily have one. Opponent could have a Mystical Dispute here. We're like representing. I think we're cycling this. Veto's okay, but again, if our opponent just has Fort Distortion here, we're just in so much trouble. It's going to lose 3 cards. I guess we'd get 2 Castle Banchrez, and then if we hit a Planeswalker off the top, we'd get to just play that Planeswalker. Do we start putting creatures on board? Is that just better? Since if our opponent, yeah, I think just putting pressure on board is going to be better. I don't know. Just we've got our counter magic, and if our opponent's going to Fort Distortion us, if we get a Planeswalker, we wouldn't be casting the Planeswalker since our opponent's got so much open mana. It just doesn't feel that great. Opponent can cycle Shark Typhoon here. I don't think they do. I don't know, I feel sort of just sitting waiting for this Fort Distortion, really. We have to scry now. Try and hit like a Shark Typhoon or something. Wrath of God to Fairy. So if our opponent has a double counter spell, yeah, we can play Teferi through 1 counter, but not through 2. Opponent left all of that mana up. Opponent gets to draw a load of extra cards. And with Uro, they're going to be able to just gain that life back. Okay, opponent's got Four.Vs. Can make our opponent take it, but we still have counter spells for what our opponent's got. We can't stop the Uro either way. I'd rather just not give our opponent the information. Searchlight Counter is so far away from flipping. I mean, it's going to be good though. Yeah, a little bit concerned about another Shark Typhoon. I think our opponent's just happy to go draw, go here. Yeah, I'm gonna let this go. Opponent knows the way is safe for the Uro.
I have reached my limit.
Yeah, not finding any of our Graph Digger's cages as well. Hurting with this Uro. Yeah, and the Shark Typhoon's wearing us down. Falling to 9 now. Our own Shark Typhoon. Just gonna pass the turn here. Yep, can't stop that.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers. With thoughtfulness before action.
So I'll probably do this for 5. Opponent might have an answer or something. They can resolve something now. We threaten the Narset on the way back. Opponent's just going to go for the Shark Typhoon. I mean, we're going to Mystical Dispute that. Does the opponent forget about the Mystical Dispute? Yeah, I think we have to play on these Shark Typhoons at the moment. Feels bad because we haven't got a solid answer to Uro.
I still have much to learn.
Like, we can make a Shark to trade with it. I think we have to take the 6 for 1 turn. So if we want to hold up a counter spell, we could make a Shark for 1. Just to protect our life total. Because I don't want to just die out of nowhere to a Shark. Could make a token. Token really doesn't get us anywhere. I guess Shark Typhoon gets Surtrust Canter closer to flipping. And we may as well just cycle for one, so we can hold up Absorb still. So yeah, Surtrust Canter is going to flip next turn as long as we put the top card into the graveyard. Oh. Do we have to let this go? Putting ourselves to 12 doesn't really help. This is a good answer to Uro. Yeah, we'll flip next turn. We can still scry this turn, can't we? So we could do this now to put the shuffle the Uro away. Try and shuffle it away. This feels bad if they have another counter spell. It's our last card in hand though, so if you've got something, you've got something. Nope. Okay, it works. The Uro gets shuffled away. So unlikely our opponent can, unless they have another Uro in hand, I guess they get to go Uro into Uro.
Strange and magnificent world. Rise, my elemental friend.
So Surtrust Canter's transforming now. Guess we got to take that. Should have done this in our opponent's upkeep since they have plenty of mana. So falling to 6 here. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. 3. Another Nissa would be really bad here. Yeah, another Nissa. Guess we're gonna go digging. Look for an Ether Gust. Graph Digger's Cage is not good enough. Guess we'll go to Fairy. The problem is we have to top deck an answer to the lands now and the Nissa. And our opponent's got to have nothing in hand here. Big old Hydroid Crisis. Yeah. Well, I mean, there are 2 answers. If our opponent doesn't have an instant speed spell when the end step, we're okay, I think. Well, we're not okay, but we are hanging on by a thread, though. If our opponent has a Nissa or... Well, I mean, Nissa is what does it. Maelstrom Pulse, okay. And then now the Shark is lethal. I mean, our opponent could have cast out... Yeah, they could have Maelstrom Pulse the cast out. And then won that way. So they're giving us a chance here. I mean, we have to take cast out, don't we? And just cast out the Shark. Should have played around Mystical Dispute there. Would love to cast out that Shark Typhoon, but unfortunately not going to be able to. Yeah, that's a good game. We fought for as long as we could.
Witness the ties that bind us all.
But yeah. So, on the play against Gigantha. This hand doesn't look particularly good. We have a Wrath of God for their Emry. Aether Gust can slow down an Uro. I guess we'll keep. Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Peace is what we're looking for. Okay, slow out the gate just with a breeding pool. Yeah, Emry. Okay, Kinnan is also a threat we have to worry about. Grafdigger's Cage shuts it down. Its activated ability, but its passive ability is still pretty strong. Opponent can just cast like a Mox Amber or Mind Stone. Yep, not much we can do about that. I think we might just cast out this Emry. It was pretty essential that we stop this. Since I think the main combo bit of Emry... Maybe we'll just pass. We'll set up the Wrath of God. Opponent can like sack Mind Stone to draw a card and replay it if they want to. Feels a little bit underwhelming. Ooh, Paradox Engine. So yeah, probably... So if we absorb it, our opponent can replay it next turn with Emry, and it's unlikely that they play another creature now, so we would just be using the Wrath of God. Equally, we could let it resolve and cast out it. But then our opponent gets to cast a spell and untap all their permanents. Maybe we absorb and then cast out the Emry. I don't think our opponent runs counters main board. Okay, now I'm liking the Wrath a little bit more, since we get to catch out our opponent. Guess we'll get down Castle Ardenvale tapped while we can. I think we're holding this cast out. Yeah, this can hit Gigantha as well, for what it's worth. So opponent's got 2 cards in hand. They've got their like their combo piece in the graveyard. Go back Emry. I think that's our opponent tapped down, so we are just gonna have to Uro in the graveyard. I guess we can cast out and then when they recast this. So we'll just cast out now and then Aether Gust the Uro. But yeah, must stop this Emry. So I think the Gigantha Wellspring deck, the combo list with Emry that we're playing against now, it's a really good list. I think it does better in best of 1 than best of 3, since it gets the utility of the 15 cards in their sideboard to use. But for decks with a lot of interaction like ours, as long as you can keep Emry off the table, you're normally okay. Your opponent has to go on the beatdown plan with Uro and Gigantha, which our deck's more than capable of dealing with. I think if you have a low amount of interaction, then it's difficult because you've got to keep answering this Emry. So Gigantha or Uro, they probably go with Uro. Yeah, and we're just going to Aether Gust here to buy ourselves some time. Our opponent can draw it again this turn if they want to. But they can't play it. They also can't play Gigantha now because they only have 4 mana. Because Mox Amber doesn't tap for a legendary. Okay, how close are we to flipping this? Relatively close. I think we We can play Searchers Canter and activate Castle Vantress. I think we do that. I feel like looking at 2 cards is better than 1. And I don't... Opponent can float Mana of the Mox Amber. I think they should have floated Mana of the Mox Amber then. Then they could have recast it this turn if they wanted to. Do we just counter this? Because Mox Amber doesn't tap for mana at the moment. Feels bad because we wanted to activate Castle Vantress, but I think it's still worth it. So opponent will be able to cast Uro next turn. I think we're happy to just graveyard this. And then we're just activating Castle Vantress next turn and hopefully finding an answer to this Uro. Okay. So they can activate Canaan. And that makes me feel bad for getting rid of the Wrath of God. So probably just seeing an Uro here. Midnight Clock. This is interesting. I haven't seen this before. I mean, I know the card, but I haven't seen it in this list. Might even upkeep Scry, not sure. So could keep both of these just as a way to flip Searchers Canter for Censor. So we can hold up Absorb. 1, 2, 3. 1. I think we could keep Censor on top to ditch with Searchers Canter, and then we've got Absorb for Uro. And then we can also activate Castle Vantress next turn. So let's graveyard this. Draw the Absorb. And then we get to absorb something and activate Vantress. We have got to contend with this Midnight Clock. Graph Digger's Cage. So it's creature spells in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield and can't cast spells. So we probably just let this resolve now. Simply if you've got the Graph Digger's Cage for next turn. Yeah, we'll let this resolve and we'll stop the Uro. So opponent can't activate this turn. Wait, I don't think we can counter Uro, can we? Yeah, it's a cast, yeah. Tripping up on basic rules sometimes. And then this will guarantee our Searchers Canter will flip as well. Opponent can recast actually, so it doesn't feel too good. Yeah, it doesn't feel too good. We're going to have to find a board wipe. We get to dig quite deep for it, though. Opponent's left 1 card in Graveyard, Paradox Engine. And yeah, Midnight Clock's pretty bad. Yeah, so we'll keep this and transform. I think we activate now in case we find a board wipe. Since I think board wipe's just better. Yeah. I guess we can just do both, can't we? Midnight Clock is getting closer to being cast. To be drawing up a new fresh 7. But they've exiled a load of their cards I think they actually do want. Yeah, permanently shut down this Uro now. Emry shut down. And after boarding, we have 4 of these styles of effects. This also shuts down Canaan, since Canaan looks at the top 5 and you get to put a creature card from among them. So I guess we'd love a cast out. Or Teferi. Yeah, cast out's great. Just stop this midnight clock, and then our opponent's left with nothing now. So yeah, feeling good about our position. And I think our opponent would agree. Let's go to sideboarding. So yeah, Rest in Peace feels good here. I think Cleansing Nova feels okay for a Wrath of God. Maybe we just want both. Aether Gust doesn't feel very good. Seal Away doesn't feel very good. Grafdigger's Cage does feel good. Disdainful Stroke stops all of our opponents' like key combo pieces, like Khan, Paradox Engine. Doesn't stop Emry though. I feel like we want to cut some sensors for some Dovin's Vetoes. What do we feel about Mystical Dispute? It stops Emry, but our opponent normally has a lot of mana. That's why we're boarding out these sensors, or most of them. I feel like 1 Disdainful Stroke's okay. Do we just want to cut Baffling Ends? It's like an answer to Emry, isn't it? Maybe go down like all the sensors and bring in a Dovin's Veto. Make Search Res Cancer a little bit worse, but Search is good anyway. Yeah, the only other conversation I think is maybe bringing in Disdainful Stroke and Narset to find our Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Peace, but between 4 effects we should be okay. Just going to run it like that. I think a hand with Rest in Peace is worth keeping. And we even get to hold up Dovin's Veto after that to stop these Khans. Since Khan is a way to answer Rest in Peace, then go digging. Okay, Kinnan. Just going to get this down now. And then we can hold up Dovin's Vetoes. And absorb. So if our opponent doesn't resolve something scary this turn, we're okay. Oof. So this is an answer. We saw this actually game 1. This is an answer to our Rest in Peace, unfortunately. An opponent can activate it next turn. That's a shame. We have no way of stopping Kinnan from making more mana this turn. So our opponent is going to be able to blow out the Rest in Peace. That's going to be all of their mana though. So maybe you just want to dig for a Narset. Play Narset. And I don't think we're going to activate it.
No one is more prepared than me.
Opponent can attack it down. We'll activate it.
I have just the trick for you.
Kind of want to find Cage. Now that our opponent's going to be able to answer the Rest in Peace. Okay, they're not going to. So I think punished a bit that we didn't play Irrigated Farmland if our opponent's not going to activate this. Yeah, it was 7. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, opponent had more than enough mana to do so. So yeah, it's likely our opponent's going to be able to combo next turn. Not next turn, but likely they're going to be able to set up to combo. They get to kill Narset. Could protect Narset, but I think we're going to hold up Absorb. And Veto.
You are a mighty warrior. I concede.
My purpose is greater than myself.
Meteor Golem. Just want to stop this. I don't know if our opponent had a counterspell then, but I really don't want that to resolve. So now that our opponent has 2 effects, I don't know how we feel about the cast out. I guess it like stops Khan. Maybe they're scared of disallows. If our opponent goes for the Meteor Golem, I guess we'll counter it. If they just activate Obelisk or just pass a turn, we'll cycle a Sharp Typhoon. So yeah, I think it's worth trying to stop this. It means Khan's going to get another tick down. Could tuck this Obelisk. We just lose to Fairy though. Could just Wrath of God. Get the Chromatic Sphere as well as Kinnan. It would take all of our opponents. Yeah, I think I like that. It would take all of our opponent's mana to activate the Obelisk next turn. Okay, so that's all our opponent's got. Okay, I feel happy the Khan's gone as well. We'll go see what they're going to get first, but I could see them just getting a Sorcerer Spyglass or another answer to Rest in Peace. Spyglass. So it sort of shuts down our Teferi now. So how much? So our opponent's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana available to them now. So they can activate this twice, bring it to... So our opponent can do this next turn if they want to. I feel like we just stop the Obelisk. We could Wrath of God. Take out another Kinnan and Lanor Elves. I know, opponent's going to have a new hand of 7, but like I said, we could stop this, but then our opponent would just untap, shoot with the Obelisk, and it would buy us a turn. I mean, maybe that was better. I don't know. Ton of lands, Khan. I guess if we cast out the Midnight Clock... Yeah, if we cast out the Midnight Clock, our opponent would have had to have used the Unstable Obelisk to shoot. Yeah. So opponent, can they lay this land, or are they mana short? Oh, I guess they sacrifice like that. So opponent gets to draw a new hand here. We can't cycle for a cast out in response. So yeah, this midnight clock might be the death of us. Gonna hope that this rest in peace is enough. Probably just board wipe these away. Could just stop the Canaan, I guess, and cycle. I guess that kills the Khan as well. I think I prefer that, actually. And then we can just cycle the Shark Typhoon for 1. Possibly hit our land drop and kill the Khan. Yep, can't stop that. If our opponent blows up our Rest in Peace, we've got the Cleansing Nova as well. Opponent wants to tap properly. What is this? So if our opponent gets 2 of these, they can make infinite mana. Oh, I see. Opponent can go grab another one now. Okay, so opponent's got infinite mana. Oh, I've not seen this way of the combo before. So opponent can now bounce this back to their hand, play it to untap this to bounce the Khan, and then just keep going. So I will skip ahead and we'll see what our opponent's going to get to. Okay, so opponent's shown us the Everflux Reservoir. We know that they can infinitely combo here, so we're just going to concede. So going on to the next game, how do we want to interact with this? We got a little bit unfortunate missing land drops there. So I feel like the list we've got's okay. Our opponent knows we have Rest in Peace. Yeah, we just got a little bit stuck on lands, I think. We're going to run it back. Okay, while this hand has 3 Graph Digger's Cages, I think we have to mulligan it. This hand is not as good, but it does have lands, so I guess it's objectively better. Opponents had to mulligan as well. Opponent's deck, interesting to note, is one of them decks that before the London mulligan, I know it's been so long now, would have been a lot more difficult to play. Won't represent Censor. Okay, Mox Amber into Emry. Kinan. So probably just passing here with Absorb up. If we play Narset, Narset just dies. And we'll probably cycle one of these cast outs. Love to hit land drops. Rest in Peace is still good. Graph Digger's Cage is good. Looks like our opponent's playing around Shark Typhoon for 1. Just gonna cycle. Gonna keep one of them. Yeah, pass turn. Might cast out the Kinan in the end step. Nice. Opponent has a few cards in graveyard. So opponent has 3 mana left to them. I think we're happy to take the 2 to cast out in the end step. I think we're okay tapping down for Teferi here as well. We have quite a few 2-mana counter spells we could draw. And we can't play Narset and hold up a counter spell.
I won't hide from the world any longer. Hurry.
Yeah, Dovin's veto was amazing there. If our opponent tries to go for Khan or something like that, we can stop it. Can't stop a Kinnan. Can stop a Midnight Clock, and I think I definitely will. That was the thing that killed us last game. Opponent can't cast their Uro yet. Now we get to Narset though while holding up Absorb.
If you wish to surrender, hone your prowess.
Let's take another cast out. Take another Narset. Opponent's going to like Uro next turn. Probably take another Narset. Opponent can kill Narset here if they want to. They can't cast Uro yet. And if they want to put all their resources into it, I guess we'll absorb it. We have tons of counter spells. No, they're going to head for Teferi instead.
You cannot see your folly.
I guess just activate all of our opponent's information is now known. They've only got Gigantha in hand. So yeah, I feel okay about our position now. Just need to find a Rest in Peace, some Graveyard Hate, Graft Digger's Cage. And I think we will sack this Narset to play another Narset.
You know what? I'm not done.
Meditate and prepare.
Do we want to just stop this Kinnan or do we want another counterspell? I feel like I just like another counterspell. We can stop the Uro that way. And we get to dig even deeper here.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers. Put thoughtfulness before action.
Cage or Surtraz Canter or Wrath of God. I think we're going to go with Cage. Yeah, they have to activate Kinnan now. Emry. Ooh, double Khan. So they get the Paradox Engine, but obviously they can't cast the Paradox Engine. We might just play the Shark Typhoon out to try and close the game. Okay, looks like our opponents just go... they skipped through their turn. I mean, giving us an extra turn there I don't think is too good for them. Since now we can defend both our Planeswalkers, we get an extra activation of Narset. I'd rather not assume that our opponents scooped Sultai, but looks like that's going to be game though.
Keep an open mind.
Could even Wrath here just to stop our opponent, but I don't think we're going to. Just activate Castle. And now we've got 2 counterspells for our opponent's unknown cards. And they can't get through this board. So it looks like our opponent did just stop playing. Maybe they got a bit salty and conceded. Not sure what that was. But yeah, we've played a few games of this now. And it feels like we are pretty competent in the matchup. Between our 4 bits of Graveyard Hate, 2 of the main deck, I feel like we've got a really good game plan. Narset's really good as well, shutting down our opponent. And we just got so many counterspells that when we get to this sort of point where our opponent's locked down, They don't have much board pressure apart from Uro, but Uro alone is not enough. Really good card, but by itself cannot win our opponent the game. Howdy guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. I do have to apologise that this has been so long. I think we're approaching the 2-hour mark, so this has been a marathon of a game, and I think it comes down to that final game against the Emry combo list, and the Sultai matchup took forever, and we didn't even win it in the end, so that was really disappointing. So overall, let's start with Goblins. Goblins probably one of the easier ones. I feel like Goblins this has a really good matchup against. Between Ether Gust, Disdainful Strokes, Grafdigger's Cages, and the extra cage in the board, and then just the more Ether Gust and Disdainful Strokes after boarding, I feel like it's a fairly good matchup. Obviously, no matchup is 100%, so Goblins still can take over. I think one of the Goblins games won one of the best of threes, an individual game, but I feel like overall our matchup is pretty favourable against Goblins. Most times I play this, even when I'm not recording, it goes pretty well against Goblins, or we have to draw quite poorly for Goblins to be a good matchup. So I feel like Goblins is okay. Sultai Control, I feel like this deck is good against Sultai Control. We didn't do very good there. I'm not the best control player in the world, so that's worth noting as well. But I feel like between the 4 Narsets, between the Board Wipes, the Ether Gust, the Disdainful Strokes, we have a really good matchup. What did we think about Baffling End and Seal Away? I feel like you probably just want more Baffling Ends. You probably just want to run like what Brad was running. You want to go 3 Baffling Ends and 1 more in the board, and then maybe just take that Seal Away out and just put some Seal Aways in the board when you need them. If you just need more early interaction. But I felt like moving on slightly, in the Emry matchup, when you're facing that, Baffling End is just better than Seal Away because you can stop your opponent from activating the Emry. Otherwise, you have to wait for them to activate the Emry before you can Seal Away, which is okay. Like, it can still stop what your opponent's doing, but it gives them a little bit more value, where Baffling End can just kind of stop that. So while we lost against Sultai, I feel like the deck does have a good matchup against Sultai. It is okay. It's not. It's probably more maybe 50-50. Maybe we're slightly favoured a little bit. I don't know. Sultai just has so many decent tools against us. And as you see, the rage continues. Fort Distortion. I hate that card so much, but yeah, we got Fort Distorted. It cost us one of our games. But like I said, I'm not the best control player, so it's difficult to tell how good this is against Sultai. You need to go and watch a pro play this against another pro to look at that. And ultimately, what did we think of the Emry combo matchup? Because that's a new deck that's been around on the ladder quite a bit. It did really well in the Open that just went past. So I feel this is really good against Emry. We won like all of our games against it between Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Peace. Yeah, I feel like it's really, really good. Yeah, the Cleansing Nova, I feel like, I don't know, you're probably just running Shatter the Sky, aren't you, instead? Or a Settle the Wreckage, maybe, instead of the Cleansing Nova. But I think, like, we can see how Cleansing Nova would be good, so it's really like a meta decision, isn't it? The 1 extra mana, like, I think the games where we drew Cleansing Nova, we actually got stuck on 4 mana, so it is actually relevant that if we would have had a Settle the Wreckage, a Wrath of God, it would have gone down slightly differently. But if we can hit our land drops effectively, maybe Cleansing Nova is just as good. Not sure. Maybe it would just require more testing. I might keep the Cleansing Nova in the future Azorius games, depending on how I shape up the rest of the list to see how that gets on. But yeah, Emry, I feel like this has a really good matchup with. I think the Emry combo list strives more in best of 1, and Control doesn't do as well in best of 1 because they have access to the 15 cards additional in their sideboard, where normal decks don't have that. I feel like it's really good, and their deck isn't really hating on us, because I know sometimes their Khan can shut down some of what your opponents are doing sometimes, but we have nothing that loses to that, and the 2 main deck, Grafdigger's Cage, helps win that in the main deck. So yeah, I feel like we did okay today. Obviously, the Sultai matchup was a complete bomb. At 45 minutes of our life, we're not getting back, but we did do some studying for that, so interesting to know. And yeah, just last moan on Fort Distortion. I hate that card so much. It stops us from sitting back with all of our counter spells, and it's something you've got to always bear in mind when playing against Sultai. But yeah, them were the games. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and the deck as a whole. Obviously, this is about 2 hours long, so I do apologise, so I'm going to wrap it up right now. If you guys did enjoy the gameplay, remember this is a mini-series with how Bible's controlled in the historic meta, so you can go and check the playlist on the channel with loads of other control lists. We have Azorius Part 1 on there when we first built this list. We have the Brad Barkley Azorius list. We have Esper, Jeskai, Grixis, a few others, Bant as well. There's a few others, so go check them out in the playlist. And then we also do some random videos in between, like +1/+1 counters in standard, and just some other bits, colourless combo in historic. So yeah, and then we've got tons and tons of drafts at the moment. And remember, Arena Cube is a thing at the moment, so We're drafting tons of that, so that's really fun as well. And we've got a few of them videos up and expect many more to come. But yeah, the video is super long. I'm just rambling. I'm going to shut up and stop rambling now. Go away, have a nice day, and yeah, until next time, stay safe.